Powered by Wctv.tv. Eyewitness News at 4 starts now.
Ahead at 4, a double stroke of bad luck. One Taylor County man is not only losing his job, but has also lost his home as well. We'll have a live report in just a few moments. But first, a deadly shootout in Valdosta, the result of a drug deal gone bad. One man is dead and 3 others now facing charges. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. I'm Katie Kaplan. Police say one of the suspects is also wanted for murder in South Florida. That shooting happening yesterday afternoon on Willie Houseel Drive across from Scott Park. Police say the suspects had arranged to meet there for a drug deal. They say something went wrong during that deal and the men began shouting at each other and then shooting. 26-year-old Elijah Davis was shot multiple times and died at the scene. The other 3 men then drove away. 2 of them had been shot as well. They were treated at the hospital, then released into police custody. All 3 suspects are in jail now. 34-year-old Malcolm Cooper and 21-year-old Ryshawn Young are charged with murder. Police say Cooper also has several active warrants, including one for murder out of Broward County. 22-year-old Namiah Ballard is facing a charge related to the drug deal. And a Florida mother is making a plea to other parents after her little girl shot herself with a gun that was left unattended on a couch. Now a relative is in trouble for what happened. Jessica Hawley spoke with the girl's mother and has more.
Yes, sir.
If this is hard for you to watch, imagine what it's like for the mother of the child in the video.
I just kept rewatching it. I just kept replaying it because I'm like, how can this happen? I'm just grateful my daughter is alive, because if you watch the video, the gun was pointed at her chest.
Ornesia Williams is the mother of Serenity, the 3-year-old girl who accidentally shot herself in the hand.
The bullet went straight through her finger. Her hand stopped the bullet. Her hand saved her life.
Serenity is now recovering at home.
How you doing, Mommy?
Just days after that terrifying close call in southwest Miami-Dade. According to police, on Sunday, a relative was distracted while watching a football game and left a loaded gun on the couch. Serenity's brother, Benjamin, saw what happened next.
When I was at Daddy's house when he touched the gun, and I seen a lot of blood on the floor, and it was red. And I was crying then when he went to the doctor.
Serenity had surgery at Nicholas Children's Hospital.
Say hey, y'all.
Hiya.
She spent 2 nights there. Meanwhile, police would take Orlando Young to jail and charge him with child neglect.
I do feel bad for Orlando. I feel bad for him because it wasn't intentional. He didn't do it intentional. So yes, I understand. But at the end of the day, it was careless.
And carelessness with a loaded gun can take a child's life in an instant.
It's not okay. Leaving guns on couches with one in the chamber is not okay. It's not no accident. That was careless. People who have guns, put them away. If kids are in the house, please put them away. Like, my baby could have died.
And that was Jessica Hawley reporting. Now, this is a trend that we've seen here in our area as well. Tallahassee police tell us they have responded to 10 accidental shootings that killed 4 people this year so far. There were only 7 accidental shootings and no deaths compared to last year. Now, keep in mind, this data doesn't include any other agencies like Leon County Sheriff's Office or the accidental shooting death of a 14-year-old girl in Valdosta just last month. Now to a developing story out of Dixie County, where crews cleaning up Hurricane Idalia debris in the Steinhatchee River have made a disturbing discovery. We're told crews were dredging near the Jenna boat ramp when they started pulling up pieces of a car, then found a pair of jeans with bones inside. Dive teams have been brought in to search the area for more evidence. The vehicle's tag is said to have last been registered in 1995. Meanwhile, those bones have been sent to the medical examiner's office. No word yet on who they could belong to. And many in Taylor County are reeling after learning the news that the county's largest employer will soon be closing its doors. But for one man, the situation has become even more dire. 3 days after learning he'd be out of a job, he also suddenly lost his home. Our Madison Glazier caught up with the man and his wife today. She joined us now live. Madison, this is really unimaginable. Let's start with the Foley Mill closure. Does this man know when officially he will be out of a job?
So, Katie, Richard Tootin actually found out today that he's going to have about a week and a half left of work before he will officially be without that job. Now, this is the place that he's been employed for the past 5 years, and he says this is the city's largest employer, employing over 500 people that have come directly here from Perry and Taylor County. He also says he found out all of this information from a friend who also works at the mill, who sent them a screenshot from the Facebook's union's post about the mill, saying they had just got out of a meeting and that the doors will be closing on November 1st. Now, while he says he was shocked, he says he wasn't surprised because the Foley Mill has been saying that they are just not bringing in the funding and the means that they need in order to keep operating. But he was upset due to the timing because this came just not that long after Hurricane Idalia passed through the area.
And Madison, just days after getting that initial devastating news that the mill would be closing and he'd be losing his home, losing his job, Richard's home then caught on fire. Do we know if it's a total loss? Was he able to salvage anything? It's there behind you. Really, what's the situation?
So the situation inside looks much different than what we're seeing out here. Obviously, we can see that those windows have been boarded up because inside everything else is completely gone. When I walked through earlier, I was able to see the remnants of what used to be their kitchen. You can see right there on your screen that used to be a pan that sat in their kitchen. There's been light sockets that have been completely blown out, debris that scatters the floor. Now, Richard's fiance, Kelly Valentine, was inside with her daughter Alyssa when this fire broke out, and she actually went outside because she smelled something that smelled unfamiliar. It was then when she actually opened that door that the smoke and the force of the blaze actually came back and hit her in the face and ended up catching the roof of the house on fire. She says within maybe 30 seconds of her grabbing her daughter and getting out, the house was fully engulfed in flames. Right now, this family has absolutely lost everything. They have the clothes on their back, and they haven't been able to salvage anything from inside that home. So those are things that they are asking for during this time, is different kinds of clothes, and definitely trying to get any kind of funding they can so that they can be able to rebuild and have that sense of security and a place to call home eventually. Katie?
Yeah. Feeling for that family right now. And of course, we'll have ways that people can donate online at Wctv.tv later tonight. Madison, thank you so much for being there and for sharing this story with us. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look outside. This is of the Challenger Learning Center, out from the Challenger Learning Center in downtown Tallahassee. You see some of those clouds, kind of look like what we had yesterday, hanging about, bringing those temperatures down. Pretty mild and comfortable out there today, Mike.
It was. I was out and about quite a bit earlier, and with the breeze and the clouds and the temperatures, which, yeah, they're warmer than yesterday, but not warm by any stretch. The clouds, as expected, pretty thick, but also every once in a while, a little bit of sunshine and blue sky peeks through those, and that's why it's just a shade warmer. But as far as rainfall coming out of these, and by the way, nice looking view there from Madison County High's weather stem station. But yeah, you look at the current temps. Tallahassee at 80, that's warmer than yesterday. 81 Valdosta, 77 Thomasville, but we still have the nice breeze from the northeast, and the humidity, it's still pretty high, but that's a lot of it's just because the temperatures aren't very warm. It's still pretty comfortable, all things considered, out there. In the 70s from Marietta to Quincy to Thomasville and Bainbridge, also Homerville, and even where it's in the 80s, the warm spot is Perry. It's still not all that bad at just 83. Tonight, we're looking at 70s this evening, but I think there's a pretty good chance we'll see some of those upper 60s again in most inland areas, maybe right around 70 or so down toward the coast. But with the northeast wind, the coast, not much different than what you'll see inland. So here's the setup. We still have this persistent southwest wind in the upper levels. That's what's spreading all the cloud cover. But little boundary down to our south, that's where all the showers are. So I really don't expect to see much of a rain chance. I think there could be some sprinkles from time to time. No more than a 20% chance tonight and tomorrow. It's not zero, but as far as measurable rainfall, I really don't see anything coming out of that. Certainly nothing showing up on radar right now. The best chance for seeing some sprinkles that might accumulate on the windshield or maybe dampen things a little bit would be over the south and southeastern parts of the area. Again, 20% chance at most. And probably even that is too high as we head towards Saturday. That's when we'll start to see some warmer afternoon temps and a little more sunshine. And by the way, the tropics, now we have two tropical storms. We've got Philippe and Rena, but they're way out here in the middle of the Atlantic. Zero threat to us. We'll talk more about what we are looking at as for the 7-day forecast. I'll check the rest of the tropical picture a little bit later.
All right, sounds good, Mike. We'll see you in just a bit. Okay. Well, today marks 1 year since Hurricane Ian devastated much of southwest Florida. The strong Category 4 storm killed at least 150 people and wiped out multiple communities. Meteorologist Josh Green joins us now live in the studio. Josh, looking back, we now know much more about the impact of how devastating this storm was.
Yeah, that's right, Katie. Ian, it was one of the costliest hurricanes to make landfall, and not only in terms of dollars, but unfortunately lives as well. Ian reached the barrier island of Calah, Florida as a major Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. It had a peak storm surge of 10 to 15 feet above ground, and that occurred in Fort Myers Beach. And what this did, it inundated the streets, and it unfortunately claimed 41 lives in the process. That's just from the storm surge. And impacts from the hurricanes, they were not only limited to coastal southwest Florida. After the initial landfall, Ian continued inland, and it brought historic flooding across much of central and northern Florida. The National Hurricane Center reports that Ian was responsible for over 150 direct and indirect deaths and over $112 billion in damage. This makes it one of the costliest hurricanes in Florida's history. And of course, lessons learned from storms like Ian helped prepare us for storms like Idalia, and it will help prepare us for any others that come our way in the future.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for stopping by, sharing more about that. Well, still to come today at 4 o'clock, a family vacation ended with a traumatic brain injury, a leading cause of death in children. Coming up next, see how ketamine is being used to treat that injury. Then we'll head into the kitchen for a look at Mr. Food's version of a cowboy brisket. This recipe, I have to tell you, had a lot of people in the newsroom excited today. And at 4:40, cybersecurity experts are warning about a resurgence of ransomware attacks targeting schools. In the second half hour, we'll show you what you can do to protect your child's personal information. We'll be right back. Ketamine is a powerful medication used as a sedative for decades, but it's rarely used with traumatic brain injuries in children because for years it was thought to raise pressure inside of the skull. But as Marty Salt is about to tell us, new research shows ketamine might actually help kids heal.
A few years ago, Will Terry was riding a scooter on vacation when he toppled over head first.
Yes. He was trying to slow down and brake, and when he did, he went over the handlebar and hit his head.
Within 30 minutes, he was throwing up.
I went to get the car. Daddy started carrying Will down to the car, and he lost consciousness.
Will had suffered a traumatic brain injury and had surgery in Florida before being flown to Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt.
Right after his accident, he was in a coma essentially a month and on a ventilator for a very long time.
Traumatic brain injuries hospitalize 50 to 60,000 children every year. But can ketamine be the answer to treating these kids? In a study, children from 1 month to 16 years were given ketamine post-brain injury.
In patients who received ketamine, their intracranial pressure, the pressure in their heads, went down.
And that was critical for Will to have time to heal. He's 12 now and taught himself sign language to communicate.
Play with your toys. What else do you like to do? Go to the zoo. He is still making tremendous progress. Every day he's getting better and stronger and more independent, and so really the sky is the limit.
I'm Marty Salt reporting.
We continue to pray for his continued progress in his recovery. Now, Dr. Wolf plans to expand his study to a larger group of children in the future. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Time now is 4:18, and this is a gorgeous view of the FSU Coastal Marine Lab. Absolutely love it. Kind of a nice mix of clouds and some blue sky poking on through. Chief Meteorologist Mike McCall will be here in just a moment for a check of our forecast. But before he gets here, let's take a quick look at a couple of headlines we'd like to tell you about today. Florida's Attorney General issuing a new warning about artificial intelligence. Ashley Moody says criminals are now using it to target teenagers online. The FBI is apparently getting thousands of reports about teens being extorted through social media. We'll have much more on this coming up tonight during the Eyewitness News at 6. And a Big Bend lawmaker wants the state to bring back black bear hunting. This is video from the last time Florida had such a hunt. That was about 8 years ago. State House Representative Jason Schoaf says the bear issue in our area is getting out of control. This is a topic that we've been covering for a few weeks now. We recently told you that people are spotting more bears roaming around Carabao. In fact, Franklin County Sheriff A.J. Smith is meeting with FWC officials today to discuss ways to control the issue.
Weather-wise, another good day. Maybe if you're out there working outside and that temperatures are pretty comfortable for this time of year. Didn't say that a lot for about 4 months during the summer, but it's been a nicer September, that's for sure. Now with all those clouds, not much in the way of any rainfall, even though the humidity's up there around 60 to 70%. But with temperatures 77, 80, 81, it's really not bad, especially when you throw in a little bit of a breeze, and that's helped too, coming in from the northeast, and that's going to be rather persistent for the next several days. The upper levels are still seeing those winds come in from the southwest, and that's why we still have all these clouds. But these winds should start to gradually turn and come in more from the northwest as we head toward tomorrow and the upcoming weekend. As that happens, we'll get drier and drier, and the rain chances, which are already going to be pretty low, will get even lower. But with a little more sunshine, we'll start to see those afternoon temps start to climb a little bit. So nearest rainfall, some showers way out in the Gulf of Mexico. We've seen some more showers over on the East Coast. It's still possible that there could be a stray little light shower or some sprinkles around. But as far as measurable rainfall, it's not likely other than maybe 1 or 2 showers near the coast. Certainly nothing showing up on radar right now. If you have any outdoor plans, I wouldn't concern yourself with any kind of rain. Just enjoy the very comfortable temperatures. The clouds, they should be a little bit thinner tomorrow, and with that, we'll start to see some mid-80s coming back. You move towards Saturday, that's when the clouds get a little bit thinner still as the upper levels start to relax and become a little more from the west, so we won't see as many of these high clouds around. Again, it's not a zero rain chance, but it's pretty small. I think any stray showers, even on Saturday, will be over the southeastern parts, the Big Bend, or maybe 1 or 2 along the coastal areas. As far as what's happening with the temps, though, yeah, warmer than yesterday, but these are still really nice numbers, about 80 to 81 from Tallahassee, Valdosta to Apalachicola, even down to Cross City. This evening, those 80s will become 70s and gradually become some upper 60s as we move into Friday morning. Saturday morning, maybe some mid-60s. Notice the daytime highs. They are climbing, but they're not hot. But 87 to 89, that's pretty close to, if not slightly above average by the time we get to Saturday. Staying pretty dry. We'll show you what the rest of that 7-day forecast looks like. If you need rain, it's not so great. If you like some comfortable mornings, I think you'll like it.
Okay, well, I keep looking at the sweaters in my closet, Mike, and thinking, not quite yet. So it sounds like it's going to be a little bit longer.
We're closer.
All right, well, I'll take what I can get. Thanks so much. Okay, we all saw Taylor Swift at the Kansas City Chiefs game on Sunday there to support Travis Kelce, but almost no one saw her leave. Now there's a new theory going around on social media that she actually snuck out in a popcorn cart so that fans wouldn't mob her. JD Moose tries to get to the bottom of the popcorn bag.
Can you imagine Taylor Swift trying to avoid getting mobbed by hiding in a box?
Was Taylor Swift carted out of the Kansas City Chiefs game last night in a popcorn machine?
Some Swifties think so.
She's in there like her cleaning supply.
This video captured the moment outside the VIP box seats where Taylor cheered on her new VIP, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. Later, they were photographed leaving together, but the popcorn cart was earlier.
It's like the broom thing, that was her.
The broom thing happened back in April at one of her concerts. A fan shot this janitor's cart being moved by a couple of guys backstage. And then, who should pop out of it? Glitzy Taylor Swift, which is why some Swifties went for the popcorn cart theory. I do believe it 1,000%. While skeptics argued they are not leaving Taylor Swift in the hands of 2 minimum wage girls pushing a tin box. The rumored romance has people behaving oddly. Famously gruff New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick actually almost smiled.
Travis Kelce's had a lot of big catches in his career. This would be the biggest.
People are trying to come up with one of those combo names for the possible couple. Trailer. Travis and Taylor seems to be the early favorite. And with sales of Kelce's jersey skyrocketing 400%, some say Travis gets the Taylor bump. Who's bigger?
The NFL's Instagram account has 27 million followers. Taylor Swift has 272 million.
With that many fans, it figures a few would refuse to think out of the box.
She's in there like her cleaning supply.
Jeannie Mose, New York.
Gosh, every time I hear something new about Taylor Swift, my mind is just blown. It seems like everything she touches really just turns to gold. Now, we have to say that Taylor was later seen with Kelce, and then the pair took off in his convertible. All right, well, let's move on now to the Wctv Birthday Club. We are starting off with a big one. Happy 90th birthday to Enid Evans. This shout out coming from your family. You look beautiful in your headshot there, and we hope that you had a wonderful day celebrating. We're also wishing a happy belated birthday to Gregory Witherspoon. This shout out coming from your children and your grandchildren. They say they love you, and you also look fabulous in your photo there. Very dapper dude. All right, if you want to send someone a birthday wish or just show us how you are celebrating, go to Wctv.tv, submit those photos to the Share It tab, and you get to see them right here on air at 4 o'clock. Happy birthday to you. Mr. Food is coming up next.
No need to spend all day in the kitchen when one appliance can get you in and out of there in no time. If you think you know what it is, now's a good time to dig it out.
All right, welcome back. Today, Mr. Food says that for this recipe, the only work you're going to need to do is to dig out some of your kitchen appliances. I'm excited to see this dish, and I'd have to guess that you probably will be too, Mike.
Yeah, and I have never cooked a brisket in my life, so
Me neither.
You know, I had a friend who ran a local barbecue place that did a fantastic job.
That's always the way to go.
So,
have a friend.
Yes, that the friend that does it well is a good friend.
I totally agree. Well, it'll be a first for us then. Let's learn how to make Mr. Food's cowboy brisket.
Just because you love meat so tender that it falls off the bone doesn't mean you need to spend all day in the kitchen. It does mean that you need to dig out your pressure cooker or Instant Pot. And for those of you who don't have either, let me tell you, you're missing out. Not only do they cook super quick, but today's versions of these are safer than ever. Here's a brisket that would take hours if we cooked it traditionally, but watch how fast it can be made using our pressure cooker. After rubbing it with a homemade spice blend, we place it in our pressure cooker on a trivet. That ensures the meat won't scorch while it cooks. Over that goes a sauce that we made by combining brown sugar, vinegar, water, ketchup, and liquid smoke. Now we top that with some sliced onions and place the lid on. After making sure the lid is locked, we set it to cook for about 50 minutes. Once it's fork tender, we'll take it out. And since the pan drippings will be loaded with flavor, we'll thicken them up with a bit of cornstarch. Then we carve this across the grain, spoon on the flavor pack sauce, and get ready for some good eating. Maybe pile some on a crusty roll so you can dig in without picking up a fork. To get the recipe for our cowboy brisket, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a cowboy quick way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Mr. Food, always going full out for his recipes. I was going to say, have you ever heard of a cowboy cocktail?
No.
So you do the meat, and then you do like mashed potatoes and macaroni, and you pile it all into a dish. That might be a fun way to do this one too.
So kind of like, I can't think of it, the mashed potatoes and stuff that you put all together. What's that? With, come on.
Shepherd's pie?
Yeah, shepherd's pie.
Oh, okay, good. Usually I can never think of the words.
And I don't have a pressure cooker at home, but my mom, I hadn't even thought about a pressure cooker in years and years, but she used to take stew meat and put it in a pressure cooker and get it so it was just, super, super tender, and then add it to soup. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, we know it works then, right?
Yeah.
For this? Okay. Well, please, if you make this at home, send us the photos and then let us know how it tastes. I think we're both curious about that. Speaking of things that look like they taste good, let's take a look at today's What's Cooking submission. This is from Gail S. She made homemade chicken and dumplings with fresh peas, there you go, and some carrots as well. And that looks absolutely delicious, kind of light and healthy too.
Yeah, and dumplings, that's some work to make those. So yeah, that looks fantastic.
Way to go, Gail. We appreciate you sending in. All right, make sure that you send us the photos of the meals that you're cooking up at home. We want to see all of your hard work. Go to Wctv.tv, click the Share It tab at the top of the page, and look for What's Cooking. We'll be right back.